Greetings once again, Dragon Warriors. Duuz-Diz-Din, back again with Dragon Ball Super. Now previously, Gohan and Piccolo's battle against the Gammas came to a head. While Gohan was evenly matched against Gamma 1, Piccolo ascended to a new, more powerful state to take on Gamma 2. One he would, because he's bad at naming, dub Orange Piccolo. Sounds like a rice dish. But Magenta, seeing that the jig was up, decided that he'd completely disregard Dr. Heto's instructions and awaken Cell Max. And despite Heto battling against Magenta and ultimately poisoning him, Magenta's dying breath was to release Cell Max. Just as Bulma had come in with reinforcements, namely Krillin and 18, who were already kind of investigating things, as well as Trunks and Goten, the ones who initially captured Dr. Heto to begin with. And just as our heroes and the Gammas were starting to kind of compare notes and see that maybe everyone had been misled, Heto came racing out, telling them Cell Max has awoken. And as everyone gets ready for the fight of their lives, Trunks and Goten decide to show off their Saiyaman form, being the first to rush into battle, with them not knowing just how dangerous any version of Cell could be. I mean, Trunks, I don't even know if he was a year old when original Diet Cell was around. But let's see if the Saiyaman can stack up. Shall we? Right, Dragon Ball Super Chapter 97, Rampaging Cell Max. So, as Gamma 1 and 2 face off against Cell Max, after his awakening managed to send Dr. Heto flying, Saiyaman X1 and X2 go racing past the Gammas. Much to the Gammas' surprise, they both go in for a strike using Upcycle Double Punch, only for Cell Max to hit them with his mace tail before they could even make contact. They hit the ground hard, much to the shock of Krillin and Piccolo, while Gohan, in his base form, can't really see what's going on. The boys get up, wincing in pain, while Bulma looks on in dismay, saying, thought so. Piccolo looks to her, saying, have they been doing any training at all? And Bulma tells them they were grounded for over half a year, so no. Which, dang, I mean, I get it. They were doing things they weren't supposed to, but, like, over half a year? That seems a little bit too much. Piccolo reaches into his waistband saying, great, we've got no choice but to rejoin the fight. I should have one more Senzu bean in here. But Trunks calls over, relax Piccolo, it's all good. Goten and Trunks look over, embarrassed, but, still being a little bit confident, with Trunks saying, heck, we haven't even gone Super Saiyan yet. You two sit back and recover some more, okay? We'll keep the big guy occupied in the meantime. Piccolo looks unconvinced, saying, are they really up for this? I have doubts. But Krillin perks up, saying, they know how to step up when duty calls. I say we give the boys a shot. Bulma smiles, saying, says the guy who doesn't want to fight. Krillin looks back to her nervously, saying, who, me? Nah, that's not it. Meanwhile, the Gammas are doing their best to hold back Cell Max, using their blasters, but to no avail. When Gamma 1 lands next to Trunks and Goten, Trunks calls out, hey, Gamma guy, that big bruiser just woke up, right? It kind of feels like he's not used to moving that body around. Gamma 1 says, you're not wrong. Cell Max hasn't quite figured out the best way to wield his power, which makes this moment our best chance to bring him down. Okay, like that little bit of strategy. Although, this is kind of disrupted when Cell Max manages to tag Gamma 2, sending him flying. Gamma 1 goes racing in, shouting, number 2! It's then that Trunks and Goten power up to Super Saiyan, with Trunks saying, now it's our turn, and the two go rushing in. Cell Max sees them coming, tries to swat them, but they manage to dodge. Trunks lands on Cell Max's outstretched arm, and goes racing up it, right to Cell Max's face, delivering a mighty punch. When Cell Max tries to swat again, Trunks flips behind his head, and delivers a double kick, launching off of Cell Max's head. This is some pretty good action beats, honestly speaking. They're actually doing a lot better than in the movie. Meanwhile, using Trunks as a distraction, Goten powers up it's just a powered up ki blast. I thought he was powered up a Kamehameha. See, I like seeing them competently fight. Like, thank you. Is the one thing that I was kind of down on when it came to the movie. I mean, it's like, I get it. They're a little undertrained, but I don't know. I like actually seeing what the boys got. Like, Goten launches his powered-up ki blast at Cell Max's head, and it manages to knock the beast off balance, and it hits the ground. Meanwhile, as Gamma 1 and 2 look on, the down number 2 says, "Those two aren't half bad." Trunks and Goten proceed to circle around Cell Max's body, avoiding his swipes. They then go right under his crotch, powering up some ki blasts and unloading on Cell Max's back, sending the beast crashing to the ground. The Gammas watch, with number 2 saying, "Ooh, sick move." Number 1 then questions, "Say, number 2, don't they resemble us in a way?" "I like that." With number 2 saying, "Yeah, that red cape's the spitting image of yours." Number 1 then says, "Do you remember what Dr. Hedo said about how when he was building us, he based our designs off of a pair of super cool heroes who happened to be his enemies at the time?" Okay, I'm glad we're actually at least calling out that connection. That's the one thing I've liked from this adaptation, that Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 were actually based off of Trunks and Goten. Number 2 says, sure, it's all coming together. Meanwhile, as Goten and Trunks back off from their onslaught, Trunks turns to Goten saying, "Come on, let's finish this dude off ourselves." Goten says, "Yeah." But the Gammas arrive saying, Gamma 1 saying, "Saiyamen, we're here to assist." The two Saiyans look back excitedly, and then they all pose. Trunks calls out, "Saiyaman X1." Goten says, "X2." Gamma 1 says, "Gamma number 1." And number 2 says, "And number 2." And they all cry out, "Move out!" They all go rushing in, shouting, "Talio!" It's so cheesy. Oh, man. I love it. I wish Gohan got in on the bit. That's the biggest disappointment. Because it's just like, no. It all originates back to Gohan. This would have been the perfect time for him to come in posing too. Like, such a missed opportunity. I love the connections, but it's just like, no. I want Gohan to still have that posing in the blood. But all 4 of them go racing in. With Cell Max getting up, he notices the approach of the warriors. They all cry out as Trunks cries out their attack. Cyclone style, tornado, super hurricane! Cell Max is taken off guard as they go rushing in a mighty beam of light. Delivering a mighty blow to Cell Max's midsection, launching the beast backwards, much to the shock of Gohan and Piccolo. The beast is sent flying. Oh, man. Okay, see, finally, this adaptation is really starting to kind of live up to a few things. And I know it's not going to do much in the long run, but it's still nice to see. The beast is sent flipping backwards into the crater. Both the Saiyamen and the Gammas cheer, with Trunks saying, "Oh yeah!" Gohan calls out, "Look at him go!" With even Piccolo smiling, saying, despite the childish antics, they've managed to really buy us some time. Piccolo turns to Gohan saying, "Well, Gohan, feeling fit to fight again?" Gohan says, "Sure, enough to turn Super Saiyan anyway." And it looks like he's gonna need it, as through the smoke of Cell Max's impact, he emerges and lets out a mighty roar, a beam of energy launched into the sky, taking everyone off guard. Cell Max then readies himself, much to the shock of Krillin. Trunks looks on in shock, saying, for real? That didn't do a thing?" Cell Max gets into a crouching stance, and then races forward, appearing behind Trunks, Goten, and the Gammas. Trunks barely notices right before Cell Max delivers a mighty punch right to the back of Trunks, sending him flying. Trunks hits the ground hard, popping out of Super Saiyan. The Gammas look on, with number 2 saying, "Oh no," before he's kicked away by Cell Max. Cell Max even uses the same foot to knock back number 1 as well. Goten barely has any time to process anything that's going on, as Cell Max hits him with his mace tail, sending him flying to the ground as well. Man, I kinda love it because you can tell that Cell Max wasted no movements in anything that happened there. He just did it. Boom, 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 boom. One after the other. Now this I actually would have loved to have seen animated in the movie. Gohan sees this and cries out for Goten. And Krillin looks at the beast saying, how in the world? It's like Cell Max changed up his moves. Yeah, because he's adjusting to being awaken, awaken, awaken. Ooh, and Cell Max has wasted no time. He's already going back in on the Gammas. Ooh, swatting the two of them away. Gohan, Pan, and Piccolo look on shock, with Gohan saying, that monster. We weren't seeing that kind of speed a moment ago. His power keeps building. I think he's getting used to fighting. Piccolo looks on to dismay, saying, fantastic. The Gammas continue to fight Cell Max as Trunks and Goten get up. Trunks says, yikes. Better whip out our last resort. Oh, here it comes. Trunks gets into position saying, get ready for fusion, Goten. Goten is taken off guard saying, huh? Fusion, eh? I hope I remember how. And it's obvious they're very wobbly on their feet. As they go in for the fusion dance, oof, they're off the mark just a bit. And boom, yep, you get fat Gotenks. Gotenks, sees that he's messed up saying, flubbed it. Gohan, Pan, and Piccolo look on in bewilderment as Gotenks even cries out trying to go Super Saiyan, and nothing. Piccolo continues to watch in dismay as Gotenks just says, crap. Even so, better let him have it. Gotenks goes rushing in and is easily batted away by Cell Max's tail. As he skips along the ground, he hits hard, saying, ow, that smarts. Piccolo says, what are those numbskulls doing? We're out of time. Come on, Gohan. Gohan says, right. He turns to Bulma saying, watch after Pan, Bulma. And Bulma says, you got it, giving a thumbs up. Gohan goes into Super Saiyan. Piccolo charges up to his ultimate, and they both go racing in. 18, who has pretty much not been a character for these last few pages, then says, fine, here I go. Here I go, if I must. And she goes racing in too. Krillin steps in front of Bulma and Pan saying, go team, I'll be here protecting Bulma and Pan. Bulma looks on mockingly saying, finally found yourself a task, did ya? As Gohan goes racing in, Cell Max sees him coming and gets ready to strike, only to be taken off guard by Piccolo kicking him in the back of the head. While he's distracted, Android 18 powers up some ki blasts, saying, take this, and unloads on the back of Cell. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Gohan charges up a Kamehameha and unleashes it against Cell Max, but Cell Max sees it coming and knocks it off into the distance. He then lands, getting into a crouching position, raises his fists, and slams them into the ground, creating a massive shockwave. This blows back Piccolo, 18, Gotenks, Gohan, and the Gammas. Gohan manages to stabilize himself, saying, damn it. Gamma 1 says, aim for the top of his head. Gohan questions, why there? Number 1 tells him it's his only weak point. He explains to everyone, Dr. Heddle made sure Cell Max had a weakness, just in case it came to this. Piccolo questions, really? But Gamma 2 continues saying, but be warned, the moment anyone nails that weak point, it'll trigger a massive explosion that obliterates every last one of Cell Max's cells, and then some. Whoever does it won't survive. Gotenks is taken aback a bit, but the Gammas rush in with no hesitation, aiming their blasters at Cell Max's head. But as they fire, Cell Max blocks their shot. Piccolo cries out, aim for the head, everyone! And Gohan, Piccolo, 18, and Gotenks all unload blasts. And Cell Max, he runs, he dodges their shots, and then once he's in position, he goes flying at the 4 of them. First going for Gotenks, taking a swipe at him. Gohan says, yikes, he's quick. As everyone continues to dodge and blast at Cell Max, 18 calls out, hitting the head's a big ass when the guy won't sit still. Krillin, seeing this, says, I'd better help out, and he goes racing in as well. Krillin's like, at the very least I could be a distraction. Gamma 2 gets angry, saying, this isn't working. He needs to be held in place. Gamma 2 tells him, I'll distract him. You blast him with max power. Number 2 holsters his blaster, saying, got it. Gamma 1 then races behind Cell Max, blasting at him, managing to nail him in the face, getting his attention. As Cell Max turns, Gamma 1 mocks him, saying, come and get me, Cell Max. Cell Max is angered and goes flying at Number 1, with Number 1 just barely managing to dodge Cell Max's swipe. And as Gamma 1 turns to blast at Cell Max, we see a massive shining ball of light right behind number 1. Gamma 1 gets out of the way as Cell Max is shocked as he realizes that number 2 is getting ready to fire off a massive shot. Gamma 2 calls out, "Chew on this!" and he unloads on Cell Max, blowing the beast back. Bulma holds on to Pan as the light shines brighter and brighter, enveloping Cell Max. Gamma 1 then calls out, "Now!" and Piccolo races off, aiming at the top of Cell Max's head. And Piccolo calls out, "I've got this!" and he unloads a ki blast on Cell Max's head. Cell Max cries out in pain. Gotenks cheers, saying, "Sweet!" and Pan races forward, saying, "They did it!" But Bulma says, "Pan, wait, don't run off." We then see that the blast did all of nothing to Cell Max. Piccolo is shocked, saying, "What the? Not a dent?" Meanwhile, Cell Max, he gets angry. He growls, rage filling his face, and suddenly beams just start firing out of various parts of his body, random parts of his body. Some of his spots, his fingertips, his tail, everywhere. Gotenks calls out, "That's some movies packing," as everyone does their best to dodge. But Bulma, she sees that Pan is in the line of fire and goes racing towards her. Bulma calls out, "Get back here, Pan!" as the blasts get closer and closer to Pan, and she recoils in terror. Krillin sees this as Pan goes running off. Krillin calls out, "Get into the air, Pan!" And Pan can only call back, "But I can't fly yet." Krillin goes racing in and manages to grab up Pan, bringing her back over to Bulma. One of the blasts get dangerously close, and Krillin shields Bulma and Pan. See? Krillin has it when it counts. He might be scared, but he will protect when he has to. Seeing that they managed to make it through all right, Krillin gives a sigh of relief, saying, "Phew, close call there." Bulma tells him, "Thanks for the save. Maybe I should fire up the ship so we can hightail it out of here if necessary, you know?" Meanwhile, Gohan, Piccolo, and the Gammas hide behind some nearby rubble. Gohan calls out, "Well, that didn't work. We need to hit him harder." Meanwhile, Gamma 2 thinks for a second, then tells them, after thinking over, "Yeah, there's only one option here." Number 1 is shocked, saying, "You mean, no, not that." Number 2 gives a chuckle, but number 1 shouts, "Don't even try it. I should join you at least." But number 2 says, "Nope, you already got a job to save Dr. Hedo." This takes number 1 off guard, who says, "Wait, what?" Number 2 tells him, "Take a peep with your bioform scope. He's not dead." Number 1 is shocked and he turns, saying, "Do you mean it?" Number 1 manages to pick up on Dr. Hedo's life signal and spots him unconscious in the rubble. Number 2 tells him, "You ought to be more observant, number 1. All in all, an okay chapter. Some pretty fun action. Much like the movie, it's nice to kind of see the group getting in on a fight with a bad guy. I mean, even when a character isn't able to just go in and do the most, I'd rather see characters put forth the effort. It's like, jump him. Jump him. Who knows, one of you might get in a good shot at the very least. And it was nice to actually see, with everything that was built up over the start of everything, with Goten and Trunks, actually seeing them team up with the Gammas, good. Thank you. It serves as at the very least, a good amount of payoff. Even if they didn't manage to, really go all out. But at the same time, it is still repeat content. So I don't expect too many people to be, really jazzed for all of this. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you like seeing the Saiyamen and the Gammas team up, doing all their poses and moves and all that good stuff? It also does kind of take into account a criticism people did have that Goten and Trunks didn't go Super Saiyan. It's just like, guys, at the very least, power up. Their showing here at least showed that they could put their best foot forward, if nothing else. But thankfully, we're getting closer and closer to the end of all this. While I have enjoyed the additions, it still is so-so as a whole. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.